Kyrie Irving's time in the NBA has been anything but boring. From his thrilling trips into the lane to his bizarre forays into comedy and his infatuation with conspiracy, his public persona has been a lot like his shot chart, all over the place. On June 12th, Irving decided to decline his player option and forego his final year with the Boston Celtics. Basketball-wise, Kyrie is single and ready to mingle for the first time in his 8-year career. But to whom will he decide to hand a rose? This is Crossroads, a series where we'll take a look at some of the most prominent names in the 2019 free agent class and break down what might be driving the decision on what comes next. In part 1, we're going to attempt to peek inside the mercurial mind of Kyrie Irving. On court, Kyrie is a more malleable player than he gets credit for. His bravado and his artistry with the basketball are already legendary, and I feel confident saying that he's the most creative layup maker in the history of the sport. With a live dribble, his zany array of floaters, right or left-handed layups off of 1 or 2 feet, fall-away jumpers, and pick-and-roll shooting make him something approaching unguardable. His method can appear to be madness, but the stats would suggest otherwise. For the 2018-19 season, Kyrie maintained a usage rate of 28.5%, which is in the 89th percentile in the league. He's a capable distributor, but his offensive talent is so great that it's understandable, defensible even, that he'd lean a bit more in that direction. Of the 40 NBA players that attempted at least 15 field goals per game last season, Kyrie had the highest ranked field goal percentage of any guard at 48.7%. I also think that this is important. 29.4% of Kyrie's possessions were handling in the pick and roll, according to Synergy, and he registered in the 86th percentile. He only turned the ball over roughly once in every 10 possessions. These aren't just, "Hey, Kyrie is good" stats. We all know that. They prove the point that purely in terms of high volume production and efficiency, Irving is justified in thinking that he can carry a large offensive load for an NBA team. It would be a mistake to think that Irving is an unwilling passer. If Kyrie chose to operate as a playmaker, he could. But in order for a team to really get the most out of his truly generational scoring ability, they've got to do everything they can to put additional playmaking around him. On defense, it's no secret that Kyrie is a little challenged. Like most guys of his size and physical tools, he's relegated to mucking up the eye-level pathways of the court, and in that sense, it's possible that he's becoming a bit underrated. Irving is a lot like Allen Iverson in the team defensive setting. His anticipation and lateral burst are well above average, and when he's engaged, he's effective in that area. Every team would love to have freakishly long and positionally strong, athletic defenders, but for Kyrie's few defensive strengths to be a part of winning basketball, it's less of a luxury and more of a requirement. To me, this is the central issue for Kyrie Irving. While his on-the-court development has trended in the right direction, it does seem like off the court he's been unhappy for most of his NBA career. But why? He reportedly resisted the idea of LeBron, unequivocally the best player in the world at the time and arguably the second best player ever, joining the Cavs in 2014. And the two apparently never fully figured out how to get along, even after they shocked the Warriors in the 2016 finals and won the title. His stint in Boston was no less turbulent. He finally got what he wanted, a leadership role on a title-caliber team, but he was no less grumpy. He publicly lectured teammates, gave bizarre apologies that were actually coded appraisals of himself, and eventually fizzled out when the Celtics needed him most in the second round against the stampeding Milwaukee Bucks. By the end, it went from, "Kyrie, please stay," to, "Kyrie, please stay away." So what gives? Were both of these situations where Kyrie got screwed, or is he simply difficult to work with? He wants to be the focus, and he said this over and over. He strikes me as someone who would much prefer to be in a band called Kyrie Irving, where he writes all of the songs, than play bass in a band called LeBron James, or whoever the player is. In a way, it doesn't surprise me that he and Kevin Durant are great friends. Both guys left situations where they felt like they weren't able to work the way they wanted to. Both guys have enjoyed basketball success at the highest level, and both guys want to find the healthiest and happiest basketball situation that they can. Go figure, they want to do that together. To secure a favorable legacy, you've got to both win and follow some of the rules that we, the guardians of the sacred pantheon of the NBA, have decided upon.
Thou shalt play thy entire career with a single team. Thou shalt not pass the ball in crunch time. Thou shalt always consult Jerry West.
So what will Kyrie's legacy be? Lots of players would kill to have his resume to this point. Rookie of the Year, All-NBA, twice. 6 All-Star Game appearances and an All-Star Game MVP, a gold medal, and most impressively, a championship ring. He also hit one of the nastiest, most clutch shots in the history of the league when he coldly sidestepped Steph Curry to hit a go-ahead 3 in Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. Kyrie's done some stuff. The production in Kyrie's career to the age of 27 is among elite company. Only 13 players in the history of the NBA have logged at least 10,000 points and 2,000 assists with an effective field goal percentage of over 50% before the age of 27. Even more impressive when you consider the fact that he's done this in the second fewest minutes among the players on this list. Aside from doing the reckless algebra of assuming that I know what's going on in Kyrie's mind, the one certainty is this. If Kyrie is going to be insistent about doing things his way and about getting a fresh start, he has to now prove that he's worthy of that mindset. Otherwise, I predict that the discussion of his career goes something like this. Robin thought he was Batman, and it kept him from getting back to the mountaintop. Now that we've identified the needs that could drive Kyrie Irving's free agency decision, let's take a look at some of the teams that are best equipped to meet those needs. For this to even enter the realm of possibility, you'd have to first assume that LeBron and Kyrie have developed the ability to tolerate each other. No offense to my Lakers fans, but attempting to reignite this contentious relationship when LeBron is getting increasingly antsy as his good years melt away and the Lakers front office continues to be unstable would be like trying to light a bonfire when you're wearing gasoline so close. But now that the Lakers have, by brute force, convinced the Pelicans to send them Anthony Davis, this one just got a little more interesting.
Now, say it. Do it now. Do it now. Do it. Shake my hand. You will sell me this car. Shake my hand.
On paper, Kyrie is the perfect Knick, and not just in the sense that he could become an overpaid star past his prime. I kid! His godfather is Rod Strickland, for crying out loud. He personifies the showmanship and skill off the bounce and individuality that New York basketball is synonymous with. Up until the incessant drama in Boston, Knicks fans would have likely laid palm branches in front of his feet everywhere he went. The reward in New York is obvious. Come and save New York basketball. Okay, before you start dialing me up on Twitter to tell me I'm an idiot, hear me out. I know this isn't going to happen. I like to imagine this one for fun. Kyrie would be an incredible jolt of isolation and pick and roll offense, and his elusiveness in space would be deadly if paired with promising young bigs like Turner and Sabonis and perimeter scoring like Oladipo and Bogdanovic, if he stays. Not to mention the fact that this team is full of positionally savvy defenders to support him. Brooklyn is considered to be the heavy favorite for Uncle Drew because it most resembles the fresh start that Kyrie has been after. Brooklyn is close to where Kyrie grew up. So much of Kyrie's cultural and schematic fit will depend on who decides to join him wherever he goes. And Brooklyn could end up with as much as $68 million in cap space to potentially lure other big fish to come and swim with Irving. One of the Nets' biggest strengths a year ago was the legion of bucket getters that they could throw out on the floor at any given time. Adding Kyrie to that mix and expecting it to play out the exact same way is probably something that the Nets won't look to do. He and D'Angelo Russell are a questionable fit at best. The good news is, Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie likely upped their value this past season and in the playoffs, and teams would likely love to include them in potential deals. The decision that Kyrie makes between now and the start of next season could be setting the stage for the last chapter of his productivity as we've known him. For his sake, I hope that decision is a good one.